and we are very much alive. This is the moment to choose the path forward for our party. This is the moment, and it's arrived. Maybe sooner than anyone guessed it would, but it's here. If Democrats nominate me, I believe we can beat Donald Trump. And if the Democrats want a nominee who's a Democrat, it's being able to look your kid in the eye and say, honey, my brothers, my sisters, my two brothers, my sister, my five grandchildren, my four granddaughters who've come out on the campaign trail. And folks, now we need to stand behind Jamie Harrison, the next president of the United States, next senator of South Carolina. They don't call Super Tuesday for nothing. By the way, this is my little sister, Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh, no, this is oh, you switched on me. This is my wife, this is my sister. They switched on me. We are very much alive. With certain inalienable rights. We say it so often in school, we don't realize how profound it is.
It's a case where we cannot let this, we've never allowed any crisis from the Civil War straight through to the pandemic of 17, all the way around 16. We have never let our democracy take second fiddle. We can both have a democracy and elections and at the same time correct the public health.
And why should the voters believe that you can win the national election?
It's a good question. Number one, I was a Democratic caucus. You ever been to a caucus? No, you haven't. You're a lying dog-faced pony soldier. You said you were, but now you got to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you. He's a fool, an absolute fool to talk that way.
I know nothing about those moves to investigate Michael Flynn, number one. Number two, this is all about diversion.
I do want to press that. You say you didn't know anything about it, but...
No, I thought you asked me whether or not I had anything to do with him being prosecuted.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was aware.
But we got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black. Come on, man. Get a life. There'd be 36,000 fewer people dead. Dead. I said I can hardly wait to meet with that guy who is the stable genius. We're already short 150,000 teachers today. If we don't do something quickly to make their salaries competitive and compatible, what's going to happen? We're going to be down 300,000 teachers by the time we get to 2025. Paying all those who engage in public service, including teaching, get up to $50,000 reduction in their teaching, in their student debt.
I want to ask you about the remark you made last week on the Breakfast Club. You said, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or for Trump, you ain't black.
Well,
now, during the same interview, you said the NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run, which isn't true.
Well, first of all, look,
Your
AR-14s.
Okay, this is not okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Hey, let's
you
get
tell me
there's a lot of guys wanted.
Presidents are supposed to lead, not engage in folly and be falsely masculine. I got hairy legs that turned blonde in the sun. The kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight and then watch the hair come back up again. 100 years ago, one hunky's just as bad as any other. I came down here because they weren't allowed to, there was a 3-meter board. Corn Pop was a bad dude. We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. The Department of Health and at NIH, a group of experts that are going to determine whether the bio-based drugs as opposed to chemical-based drugs would cover all the costs that would be associated with the loss of that you would have, in fact, any doctor's bill you have, any people would be covered. But even I can't do that for another a year between now and November, or actually January.
We're going to take one more question.
Hey, thank you all for joining me today, and I don't want to take too much time. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. And the way to fix the economy is get public health response correct and structure economy. What we're doing now is upside down. The bigger you are, the faster you get the money. Give me your numbers, man. Come on. Let's get real. Well, people are hurting.
Well, let me ask you about
I'm having trouble hearing you. Can they turn up the volume a little bit for me? Because I'm having trouble hearing you. I do apologize. I'm prepared to say that I have a record of over 40 years and that I'm going to beat Joe Biden. Look at my record. And I'm Joe Biden. And so people are frightened. I mean, go back to your old neighborhoods. Ask people. You know, they have a good middle-class job now. What do you think? Guys I grew up with back in Claymont, Delaware. Ran into one a couple years ago. And he comes up and goes, "Joey, baby," grabs my cheek and said, "How you doing?" I wouldn't have recognized, but the Secret Service was going to shoot him. And he said, no. Only guys like you never work, Joey, can continue to drive. I mean, to work. And because you never worked before, kidding me. And he said, every trucker out there, whether they have an 8th grade education or high school education, knows they're likely not to have a job in the next 3, 4, 5 years. Average salary, those people lost those retail jobs with 50 grand apiece.
How do both of those ideas sit calmly in your mind?
I don't know who Joe Biden is out there. My problem is, lucky person gets up in the morning, puts both feet in the floor, knows what they're about to do and thinks it still matters. And cut critical health care programs or stop work on roads and bridges. So what does the human cost of lack of state or stop work on roads and bridges? So what does the human cost of lack of state? It depends a lot on whether or not the president follows through with his threats, President Trump. You know, all this stuff about Biden's hiding, well, you know, the fact of the matter is, it's working pretty well.
The president is trying to paint a picture of you as somebody who's too old to be president and that you're missing a step. How are you going to combat that?
Watch me.
Please welcome Vice President Joe Biden.
Introduce me. Am I on? Yes. Hey, good evening, Tampa. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thank you for your contribution and for the heroic work that you and the Nurses Association are doing to meet this moment. My prayers are with all those who are scared, who are sick and grieving, and are struggling to get by. You know, as we speak tonight, more than 70, thank you all for being moving. And God bless you all, and may God protect our